Hey, so you're back. This is part 4. If you're not aware and you're just joining me now, this is part 4 on communication styles video series. And the first one was passive, the second one was aggressive. The third part was about passive aggression. If you're not familiar with these different types of communication styles, have a listen. Maybe you'll find some value in there. I'm sure you will. And this one is all about assertiveness. Now, what we've learned so far, essentially in a nutshell, is that a passive communication style, aggressive or passive aggressive, the motivation and why people behave this way or communicate this way is because they are attempting to maintain, regain, or get some control over the situation or other people. Now, of course, that being said, that means that at least at an unconscious level, they are feeling that they do not have control and that they are out of control. Now, there's disadvantages to these communication styles. Sometimes that might seem evident, but to the people that are using them, it doesn't. So go and have a listen, see if you can identify with it, see if you can find people that actually use them on a regular basis. And yeah, I got some information on the pitfalls and everything. But this is about assertive communication. So this video is about how you learn to be assertive. If you can't give me, if I were to say to you, hey, what is assertive communication? And you can't provide a definition for that, then you probably are not communicating assertively. You could be communicating assertively, but when you do, it's kind of by accident. You don't actually know the context or how, not the context, the structure of it. So let me tell you, so where the other communication styles are about control or lack of control or getting control, with an assertive communication style, you realize that you can't actually control anybody. You can intimidate them, you can bully them, you can manipulate them, but this is a false sense of control, a false sense of security. And what we realize when you're an assertive communicator, you're learning to communicate assertively, is that without a doubt that people always have a choice in life. And even though you may be able to manipulate them short term, long term, you are not going to be manipulating them or the situation. So assertive communication has a requirement where you understand that people have a choice. And the definition I would give for assertive communication is that assertive communication in the communication is respectful to ourselves and to other people. So knowing that they have choices, and also understanding that you have a choice, that you have a voice, and that you are worth listening to. Typically with assertive communication, it's quite direct and quite straightforward. Now, with that said, you may go through all the trouble of learning how to be more assertive in your communication and your communication skills. And I can tell you this, just because you're being assertive, which is the most efficient way to communicate without a doubt, it doesn't mean that other people are going to like it. Especially the people that are very any of them actually, the passive, all of them, they're not necessarily going to like it. And as a matter of fact, you may have the experience, if you've been communicating assertively, that people will call you aggressive. Oh, that's just aggressive. They're being aggressive. And I've actually had that happen to me. And actually a friend of mine brought this up just the other night. They were saying, remember that time I met that guy and I thought he was really aggressive? And you said, there's nothing aggressive about him. He's completely assertive. And this happens because when people haven't learned that they bring value to the conversation and that it's safe to be able to communicate directly, and knowing what they want is the starting point, and respecting that other people might not give them what they want. Like, that's just a reality of life. Surprise. When people haven't learned that and haven't learned to communicate that way, anybody that does communicate that way tends to throw them off a little bit. So you're going to have to get comfortable with the fact that people aren't necessarily going to like what you're saying or that you're communicating assertively. They may try to label you, but the only person that's going to be able to determine whether or not you're out of line is yourself. With assertive communication, when you learn to communicate assertively, you are going to have gifted yourself with efficiency. And efficiency is probably the best way I can describe it, because like I said, they might not like it, but at least you've communicated clearly and there's really no room for misunderstandings. All right. And it's really worth it. And when we teach our children that their voice deserves to be heard and that other people might not like what they have to say, and that doesn't mean that what they have to say is wrong. It just means that this is a big, old, beautiful world with a lot of people, and sometimes it's not so beautiful, and you're not going to go through life bullying your way, because at some point it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt bad. If you're a professional work environment, assertive communication is a critical skill set. If you're in any environment, assertive communication is going to create efficiency in your life. It's going to create a lot more transparency, and it's going to create an environment and a space for the people that are with you to understand that you can be trusted based on what you have to say. Hope you enjoyed the series. Please, if you enjoyed it, share it with somebody. Maybe they're going to enjoy it too. Subscribe and click the notifications button, because I got tons more content coming your way. Have a great day.